Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Miss Alyssa.
And I'm Miss Teresa.
And this is another episode of our book talk for our book club. So this month we read the Oddmire book 1, Changeling by William Ritter.
Oh, it was so good.
It was really good. When I first started it, I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was.
Yeah, it was a slow start for me as well. Like, I was reading it, I was like, okay, I like the characters, but nothing was really happening. But then, like, all of a sudden, it just picked up, and then, like, it was nonstop, and I was like, how is this book gonna end?
So many moments of, like, you felt sad, you felt happy, it was scary.
It was funny.
It was all the emotions. It was so awesome. So I think we should just jump right in.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite character?
Okay, so my favorite character, I liked all the characters. I thought that...
Yeah, let's put that out there.
So
we all liked all the characters.
I thought that every character that was introduced that really, like, had interaction with the twin boys, that they had really good personalities. I thought that they were, like, you got to know the mom, you got to know the goblin Cull, and then you got to know the queen of the deep dark, you know? But out of all of the characters, my favorite character was Fable.
I really liked Fable. She was one of my top favorites.
She was just so fun. I just thought that it was, well, first of all, I didn't know she was the cub until, like, later on, and then I was like, oh my gosh, okay, well, that makes sense, you know?
She was a very genuine character. I would say, like, what she was feeling, she let everyone know.
Yeah, her emotions were out there.
She didn't filter how, like, should I say this? Should I not say that? She just said it.
And, like, again, you guys know that if you've been watching any of these videos, that I like that, like, friendship and, like, teamwork, and I love that. And so Fable was just a really good friend. So she was, hey, I'm here for you guys. Like, what do you need? I'll take you through the wood. I've gotten through the Oddmire, like, halfway. Like, I'll tell you what a hinky punk is. And
I will say she kind of, even though she wanted to lead them, she did not know what she was doing, which was...
But she wanted to be their friend. Like, she was like...
It wasn't mean-spirited. It was just, that's how
she didn't have any, like, mean, like, feelings towards the boys. Like, she was like, I'm here for you. Like, let's be friends forever, and let's go on adventures, and, like, I will show you the woods because it's awesome. And, you know, look at, I'm stealing all the marmalade tarts. And
oh, yeah. That's one thing, though. It's like, if she ate my tarts, I don't know if I could do it.
I thought she was just such a fun character, and she was almost fearless, too. Like, she was ready to put herself out there, and even, like, at the end, like, spoiler alert, like, when Tin goes to the goblins, and he's, like, trying to get magic for everyone, like, he gets stuck, and Cole gets, like, really scared. You know, he's losing his brother, the door's closing, what's gonna happen? No one's doing anything except for Fable.
She's
Fable's like, nuh-uh, that's not how this worked. We have gone far too long and hard in this adventure for this to end like this, you know? So she's like, punch the universe.
Yeah.
Who punches the universe? Fable does. And I love that. Yeah. So.
And I'm interested to know exactly what her backstory is. Like,
you get a little, like, idea of, like, when she's asking questions of her mom. Her
father is like a fairy.
Yeah.
And her mother was a changeling.
She was the successful
human child switched with the goblin child.
Yeah, the first.
So that's interesting.
The last one.
So she has all these probably abilities.
Well, she changes into a bear. So
what else can she do?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she can do in the woods, and then now that she's got the two brothers, like, what kind of mischief will they get into? I'm really excited to see. So,
well, my favorite character, I liked all the characters. I think we both agree there's no bad characters in this book, which is nice to read.
Yes.
My favorite character was the mom, Annie Burton, of Tin and Cole. I just felt she was like a mama bear, like, pun intended, because there was a literal mama bear, but she did everything she did was because she had to for her kids, because she loved them so much. Nothing was going to be in her way. When she finds that they've left a letter, they're going into the scary woods, she goes.
Yeah, she's like, I'm putting on my boots, we gotta go.
When she stumbles across Cole,
the goblin, she's a freak out.
She's a freak out because she's never seen a goblin before. She
She's
like,
where are my
okay,
boys?
where are they?
What did you do?
Yeah. And the whole book, she's just going on this journey because she loves them so much, and she needs to make sure they're okay.
I liked that she stood up to the Queen of the Deep, Dark Woods.
Yes.
Like, I just think that even Cole was like standing back and like didn't want to interact, but she was just like, those are my boys. What are you doing with my boys? Like, no. And then like when the Queen tries to be like, well, you have to pick one or the other, she's like, no. Those are my boys.
I'm getting both of them back.
These are my boys. Like, you don't get to tell me that. And on top of that, you just turned that little girl into a bear. So I want her to.
Like, that. She's like, that little girl, why would you do that? And then I think even Fable at the end is like, were you really going to take me home? And
she's like, yeah, I would have taken care of you. I would have been happy to have you in my house.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes in books you get a lot of the times adult characters who don't listen to kids, or they're not really involved, or they're dumb, and
they assume like everything a kid says is made up. Or like, we don't believe.
And I just like that. I agree that I just think that in this case, all the adults really listen to the kids. And then Annie, she was aware that kids aren't perfect. Like, her two boys, whether one's human or goblin, like, they're both troublemakers. Like, that's just how kids are sometimes. But they don't do it to be mean-spirited. Like, her boys are just adventurous, and they're curious, and sometimes they get into a pickle, and this is just how it is. Like, when she wakes up before, like, she finds out that they left, she's like, you did not eat all of these marmalade tarts. Don't tell me that you know. And then she doesn't see them in their rooms, and she's like, they left? They were supposed to help me in the garden today. Like, what is like? She realizes, like,
I think she's a good mom because she realizes just because kids act bad sometimes doesn't mean they're evil.
Yeah, doesn't mean that they're actual goblins sometimes. So,
she's just a great character.
She's really great. Yeah, she was a good one.
So we both agreed that there weren't really any characters we didn't like.
Yeah,
but we thought we might discuss the Thing, which is the evil, shadowy darkness
monster.
We don't know.
We don't know what it is. Like, they hinted that it's like Tin because it was in the in-between, and no one came for it. Like, Tin was given to the goblins.
Yeah, I mean, at first it's described as it just wants to consume and eat everything and lives off
the magic. Well, not even just the magic, but
despair
and fear
all those
and
negative feelings.
And I think it was just really interesting that the Thing, when you meet it, like, it's free, it's escape. Like, no one's gonna put it back into that in-between place. And then it rips all the things it doesn't like about itself and literally buries those things that he doesn't like. And he puts them away into the ground and then tries to make himself big because he was small.
Yeah, like a mouse size.
So, he basically covered himself with shadows to make him big and stronger, because before that, when he was sick and in between, he was forgotten and small, and he doesn't ever want to feel that way before. So that power and that hunger just grew.
And I think what he does is very similar to what people do in real life. Like, if you're getting bullied, you probably bury parts of yourself, to survive. Like,
yeah, I think that
in the real world,
when you're lonely sometimes, that you push everything aside or you bury it, so you don't have to deal with it. And then you focus on other things. And I think that's what, in this sense, the Thing did. And unfortunately with the Thing, it turned out to be bad stuff, and even Tin said at the end, like, I'm sorry that they forgot you. I'm sorry that you were ever made to feel so small and lonely. You did bad things and I can't forgive you, but you can do better. Now, the Thing doesn't do better.
No.
He bites him on the finger.
Maybe eventually, but.
And we don't know what happens to the Thing. He runs away. But it was interesting to see that normally when you see like the monsters and things, it's a lot of the physical, like they're physically hurting the person. And the Thing ate the creatures in the woods. Like, you see you read all about the bones. But one of the things it says is that it feeds off that fear and that loneliness and those bad feelings that you have. And it gives you just enough hope that you think you can escape, but then it gets you, and he likes that.
It's a very complex creature, and I would be interested to see if in the future books, there are some, what happens to this creature? Does the thing become better, or does it stay evil?
Does it come back and try to take over the forest again? Because there's still some of his like vines and brambles still in the forest. That's why the queen has to, like, we have a lot of work to do at the end. Like, we've got a lot of cleanup to do. So, but with the thing free, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, it was a very interesting character.
It's really interesting.
So how about you? Do you have a favorite scene that stuck out to you in the book?
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of good scenes. I just think, like I said, the beginning's kind of slow, but like once you get into the meat of the story, like it's just one thing after another happens. But I have to say that my favorite parts, because it was a lot of them, all had to do with Candlebeard. I really liked that character. I thought
he was a really good character.
He was complex, like
very tragic. Very sad.
You know, at first you think like he's a good guy, and then maybe he's not a good guy because he gives the brothers to the thing. But then you find out why he would be like. So he's doing bad things, not for a good reason, but for a reason that he believes in. And
like he has a pure motivation. Like it's because his love for his son, he does these bad things, which doesn't
make it better.
It doesn't resolve. Like he's
still hurting people. He's still giving the thing sacrifices. Like, but you kind of understand that he's just so sad. Like, all of his people are gone, so he's alone, and he has one bit of hope, which the thing gives. The thing gives you just a little bit of hope that if you do all of the stuff, Candlebeard, I will give you back your son. Yes. And so he's holding on to that hope that if he does all these things, even though he doesn't agree with it, even though it breaks his heart, that hope that he'll see his son again. And so it's really sad, and it's really interesting to see all the things, because he knows he's doing bad things. Like and it makes him feel horrible. But I think that talk with him and Cole.
I think as soon as Cole says, your son would be ashamed of you for what you're doing in his name, and that kind of turns Candlebeard around. Like
I'm doing bad things, but that's not just the end of me. Like I can do better, and maybe I can't make up for these things, but it's a step in the right direction. And so that's when I love that, again, that teamwork, like where he gets all of like the people that were in the forest, all like the animals, but also the magical, the hinky punks, the other Candlebeards, like they're just all the goblins, they all show up, you know, like the little goblin with the little pig head helmet. Like I love it. And then they, you know, hey, we fight it, you know, like we may survive, we may not survive, but we're doing it together, and we're doing it for something that we believe in. We may have stepped aside, we may have done bad things, but this is our chance to make it better.
I think it shows how strong he is as a character, that when he finds out his son he's not getting his son back, he doesn't fall apart and give up. That just, I mean, he grieves, but it gives him more motivation to do good. From this point forward, I'm doing things to make my son proud of me.
Yeah.
He's very sad.
It was so good. It really touched my heart. I really like that storyline.
It was a good, sad storyline.
Yeah. What about you? What was your
my part is not sad. It was funny, which you mentioned when Fable decides that she's not gonna let Chin get stuck in between, and she says nuts to that, and she punches the universe right in the kisser.
Oh gosh.
And she gets Chin back.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of the things Fable said. It just really made me chuckle. That was my favorite part, was the punch to the universe's face.
It was great. Like I didn't see it coming.
No.
I turned the page, and the nuts to that, and she punches the universe. I was like, okay, this is happening.
Being her mom would be a little stressful. So I get why the Queen of the Deep Dark is probably a little stressed out.
Oh gosh, I know. Because the first time you even meet her, what is she doing? She's stuck
in Oddmire.
Because she probably was curious about something and wandered off, and then that happened.
It reminds me of my nephews. Like, they always go off, and I'm like, oh no.
What are you into now?
Yeah. Okay, so would you read another book?
I would. I really, like I said, these were great characters, and this was a really interesting story. And you find out that the story's probably not over. You know, changelings are supposed to have magic for just a little while, and then they don't have it anymore. But you find out that might be different for Tid. He may still be magical.
And he's able to change his hand to the color of his blanket.
Exactly. And we know that Fable is still going to be their friend, and there's still cleanup
She's
to
going
do.
to come visit them.
Yeah. Still clean up in the forest with the queen, and we only know a little bit of their backstory. So what more is going to happen? The thing is still out there too. So like, what's gonna be the next step in their adventure? And so yes, I would definitely like to read the next book.
I agree. I would love to read more about it. I'm all about like world building. So again, when I first started, I was like, oh, I know exactly what this story is about, what kind of creatures are in it. But it was so, like, the Oddmire is so complex, and there's so many different areas they can go to. I'm really excited to see what else is out there.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of,
and that gives us the second book to the Oddmire, and this is called The Unready Queen.
which is Fable.
So you're going to get, again, Fable and the brothers, and now we have Fable coming to visit them in the real world, you know, with the humans. But we find out that the humans are destroying the forest, and they're killing some of the forest creatures, and Fable is not going to stand for that. So now there's a war that could be coming. So what's going to happen? So I'd be, again, interested to see how everything plays out. That's what you're going to find in The Unready Queen.
So, no, this is the second book. There is a third book coming out.
Oh, okay.
Oddmire, so pretty soon.
Wow.
So if you really liked reading The Oddmire and about changelings, but maybe you want a different setting, we have a couple books we are going to recommend for you. Mm-hmm. So the first one is Changeling, obviously, by Delia Sherman. And this is about a girl named Neith, who was a changeling, but she's a human baby sent to live with the fairies. So she lives in the fairyland, and she breaks one of their laws.
Oh, no.
So she's in trouble. So they send her back to New York, to Central Park, where she has to meet the challenge of the Green Lady, where she'll be sacrificed to the bloodthirsty wild hunt.
Oh, gosh, that sounds interesting. Okay, so then we also have The Guest
Which looks really scary.
Look at that,
guys.
Which is by Mary Downing Hahn. And this one deals, again, with the changeling. So in this case, though, it's Molly's little brother. He's been switched. And Molly is going to go on an adventure to find if she can switch her brother back. But we don't know if the kind folk, which are the fairies, if they're willing to do that. So what is it going to take for Molly to get her brother back? So that would be really interesting. It looks a little scary, too.
I don't think they're ever willing to trade them back. There's like some catch. Okay, and our last recommendation is the book Who Lost Fairyland, which is actually about someone who's kind of like Tin. So they were a goblin, a troll. He was a troll that was switched with a human baby. So he grew up with a human family. His name's Hawthorne, and he struggles with his troll nature and his changeling fate. But when he turns 12, he stumbles upon a way back home to Fairyland. This is actually part of a series as well.
Oh, okay.
This is book number 4, though. And this is about Changeling. So as always, we're going to tell you what our next book is for December.
Yay!
Which is we don't have the actual book, guys, but we do have a picture.
So it's going to be The Extraordinary Education of Nicholas Benedict, and it's going to be by Trenton Lee Stewart. And this one's going to be about a little orphan boy and some mystery and trying to figure out this great mystery and all the interesting things.
And also he suffers from narcolepsy.
Oh, that's right.
Which means he falls asleep randomly.
Just whenever. So that'll be interesting, and we hope that you guys join us when we read that book too for next month.
And make sure to check out Overdrive to check out an ebook or our audiobook, or you can come to our curbside services and pick up a physical copy of our books.
Yep. And then remember, we put videos up every Friday on our Facebook and YouTube channel. So please check that out, follow along, and send us any recommendations of books that you think we should read, or just books that you've been enjoying as well. We love to hear about that.
We do. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next month. Bye. Bye.